Everybody good? First, before we get into Florida State, I just want to give a shout-out to the student body. I didn't realize until after the fact that we had over 5,000 students at the game, which I've been told around here is really good. And I appreciated the fact that they hung around at the end and we got together in the end zone. And hopefully we can keep that growing and keep that number going here as the home season goes along. So certainly, a thanks to them, and I'm sure the Alt family and all the people that were there to honor Coach Alt and support him appreciated it as well. So, just opening up with Florida State, obviously a very athletic opponent in all three phases of the game. As you study the film, they've got size and speed across the board. For us, we're playing our second top 20 opponent on the road in the first 3 weeks, which in and of itself presents a challenge. That combined with the fact that this is going to be a long trip. We got to leave on Thursday to try and get our body clocks adjusted. And although it's been warm around here, it's going to feel different in Tallahassee. Obviously, you've got some humidity, and we're talking to our team about preparing physically for that beginning now and not waiting until Thursday or Friday. We've got to start hydrating right now. To add to the challenge, they've had an extra week to get ready for us. Not that I'm sure they're necessarily panicked, but we do run a little bit of a different scheme offensively, and sometimes that could be the great equalizer for us. Is that certainly for a non-conference opponent that doesn't see us every year, all of a sudden, you've got 4 days to get ready for it. Well, in this case, the last time, Florida State's played once, it was on Labor Day. So they've had a little bit extra time, which is going to present a challenge for us. Excited for our kids to go play at Doak Campbell. That's going to be a great atmosphere. We talked about the Rose Bowl at length in the first week of the season. This is going to be another one of those really cool places to go play in college football, and a lot of tradition and a lot of history there. In terms of their people, the first one that jumps out to you obviously is the quarterback, Jameis Winston, who could not have had a better college debut, throwing for over 90% completion percentage. They've got two great backs in Freeman and Wilder. Obviously, Wilder being 6'2", 230, he's not a guy that you can arm tackle. We've got a gang tackle to try and get him on the ground. Nick O'Leary, otherwise known as Jack Nicklaus's grandson, is really a very, very good tight end. He's an adequate blocker. He's a willing blocker, but he really excels in the passing game. He's a legitimate threat. 3 touchdown catches, I believe, in the Pitt game. John Mackey, award watch list guy. I mean, he's a very good player. And then studying the film of the Pitt game, the offensive line's pretty good. They're probably better as a whole than they are as individuals. They work really well together. But the guy that stuck out to me was Brian Stork, the center. He's really a good player. On defense up front, they're, again, large and athletic. Timmy Jernigan, number 8. The nose guard's a really good player. Christian Jones, 6'4", 235, senior Mike linebacker, has played a ton of football for them. And LaMarcus Joyner, the corner, number 20, only 5'8", but really one of the best DBs in the country. You see him playing corner, and then when they get into the nickel package, the guy jumps inside to play nickel. He's a great blitzer. He's for a 5'8" guy. He is 190. He's stout. He's really physical. He's a hitter. So they've got some really good personnel, and obviously, that's something we got to pay attention to. Our focus into going into the game is really we're going to talk about competing on every single play. Is that we're going to go in there and compete, try to compete our tails off. And the other thing, frankly, is that this is a great opportunity for us to face our second really, really good opponent on a national scale in 3 weeks. And, I'm not sure we're going to see – we won't see talent and speed and athleticism from top to bottom in our league like we're going to see from these two teams. So these are, although again it's not exactly what I would have mapped out, certainly playing these two games early in the year should help prepare us for conference play. And that's really where that's another big thing in terms of the competing and just doing what we do and trying to get better every week. If we can do that, when we get into the heart of conference play, we should be a significantly better team than we were at the beginning of the year. And that's my goal. So, with that being said, I apologize. I'm in a little bit of a salty mood. Verizon Wireless might as well have come into my office with a pistol and held me up for about $500 as my equipment failed, and I have this outrageous bill, and I've spent the better part of a half an hour trying to figure out why I still have to pay for it. But, combine that with watching Florida State all day, and a little bit salty right now. So, with that being said, we'll take questions.
Coach, does playing at the Rose Bowl kind of prepare you for an atmosphere like Tallahassee?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be loud. There's no doubt about it. The benches are a little bit closer to the stands in Tallahassee than they would have been compared at the Rose Bowl. It'll be loud, but I don't think we were ever intimidated by the atmosphere at the Rose Bowl. I think we just simply ran out of gas and got outplayed in the second half. I don't think it had anything to do with being intimidated by the atmosphere. I'll show them. I believe I hope I don't get this wrong. Is it Chief Osceola is going to throw the flaming spear down at midfield? I'll go ahead and show that on tape this week before we see it in person, so we know what's coming. I mean, it's a great place to play. There's a lot of tradition. I mean, I remember when I was a kid is when Coach Bowden really started to get it rolling, and I remember, those great Florida State, Notre Dame games, and that's when I was growing up as a kid, as a college football fan, and so I mean, I appreciate the fact. I've never been there. I'm looking forward to it. I know our guys are looking forward to going and playing on that stage, and we're going to go out and compete as hard as we can and go have some fun. I've learned that we got physically and mentally tougher from week 1 to week 2, which is what I was very much hoping for. And again, it wasn't perfect in the second game by no stretch of the imagination, but we did get better. I learned that there is a maturity level here because we did not take that second game for granted, where there were plenty of examples across the country where I think people did. I was pleased with the way that we prepared for the Davis game, and we need to take another step forward. Although we're not thrilled with everything that we've got going on right now, we have improved in our preparation, and from training camp to week 1 to week 2, we just need to continue to do that. I've learned that we have some physically tough guys on the team. We have some guys that are nicked up right now early in the year that are fighting through it. I think of, Joel, Lenny. I mean, we've got some guys that are banged up, that are practicing and pushing through it, and that's part of being a physically mature and tough football team. And I think we've seen signs of that, which has been good. But we expect to continue to try and get better this week.
Is this a winnable game for you?
I go into every game with the intent of trying to win. We're no matter how it turns out, if you go into the game saying we're going to do X, Y, Z and just try to keep it close, then you're defeated before you even step off the bus. Our game plan is to do things that will give us the best chance to win, not the best chance to keep it close or keep it respectable. And again, I said this about UCLA. I never said we were going to win the game. I said we were going to try to win the game. And at 17-13 at the half was proof that we were trying to win the game. It just got away from us. I don't know how this one's going to pan out, but I know that we're not going in there with a plan of how do we keep it respectable. We're going in thinking about what are the things that we can do that give us the best chance for success, and that's the way we're planning.
Is this team more athletic than UCLA?
Yeah, from top to bottom, probably. UCLA had some skill people and some defensive linemen that were as athletic as anybody in the country. Florida State's got more of them. They have them in their depth. They have backups that come out that are really, really athletic. But at a program like ours, when you play teams like that, that's not a shock. I'm not shocked by that. I'm not shocked by that. I mean, but it's not the decathlon. It's a football game. So, we got to do some things to help offset that.
Do you expect Fajardo to practice today?
I don't know. That hasn't been determined yet. We're not gonna bring him out in the early part of practice. We're gonna keep him inside and get a little bit of extra treatment and do some things to try and help get him really warm and loose. For him to go out and stand outside through. Stand on the turf and just stand around through a special teams period and some walkthroughs is, we've decided we're going to keep him inside and do a little bit of extra work with him in there. Really, Cody's day-to-day, Talbot with the ankles day-to-day. I mean, there's, we literally have to go day by day and see how things are going. He's got to be able to protect himself. He's got to be able to physically protect himself. We may not be able to do every single thing that we have in the package, but he's got to physically be able to take care of himself out there. And if he can't, we won't put him out there. If he can, we will.
What does he have?
He's got a sprained knee. Yep.
How's the confidence of the team right now?
I didn't see a problem with it. I mean, I don't think anybody's naive enough to think that this isn't a challenge this weekend, but, competitors will relish this challenge. One of the things that we're going to talk about later on this afternoon is that, what was the magic number, Chad, yesterday, 15 or 16 guys in the league? We have 15 or 16 guys actively in the league. We're going to tell our team, hey, if you have dreams of playing on Sunday, this film's going to be watched. These are the type of people you have to play against if you're going to play on Sunday. And we have plenty of guys that are capable of earning that opportunity, but this is going to be a measuring stick. If you envision yourself as an NFL football player someday, then this is the type of game that you need to go compete in. And I promise you, every senior on our team that's draft eligible, they'll watch this tape. So, that's going to be part of the challenge. And the guys that are really competitive will go in and relish that. And the ones that aren't quite ready might be a little bit afraid. And our job is to figure out who's who and, and get the right ones out there. So,
is this week, and maybe the UCLA week, but I guess this week more specifically, more of a challenge to you just from kind of being a psychiatrist, getting these guys mentally prepared?
I think, yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at the first 3 weeks, fellas, when you go to UCLA, do you really believe that we can win the game? Do you really believe that we're capable? The second week is, fellas, you better understand that this team's capable of beating us if we don't play well. And then the third week, you're playing psychologist every week, is trying as best we can as coaches, as a staff, to set the mental tone for the week and keep repeating the message and repeating the message. And that's one of the hats that we wear. And it doesn't matter. Look, will everybody be geeked up for UNLV? Yeah, sure they will. But, I mean, a lot of what we do is setting the theme and the message for the week, depending on what challenge we face that week.
You're leaving Thursday. Are you going to be practicing at a Tallahassee high school?
No, we're going to practice here Thursday morning.
On Friday, though?
Oh, on Friday, Friday's not extensive. We've got a patch of grass picked out near where we're staying, and Friday's not that big a deal. We're out there in shorts and T-shirts, so we just need 44 guys to line up and go through a walkthrough. So.
What can you do defensively against that offensive line that's like NFL size? They all about 3.
No, they're bigger than NFL sized. They are bigger than NFL sized. We got to try to take advantage of quickness. We certainly can't stay down the middle of blocks because we'll get swallowed up. We got to be in gaps, be on edges, and we need to play downhill at linebacker so that when they try to engage us on a double team, the linebacker showing up should pull one of the guys off the double. I look back to different teams had different levels of success against this offense last year. NC State, who was not considered one of the top teams in the ACC last year, I believe upset them at home. Northern Illinois, which looked physically a lot like us, hung in there for a while in the Orange Bowl, and so there are examples that we can point to that say, hey, if you do it right, there's no reason we can't have some success.
Coach, talk about Jameis Winston a little bit. I mean, he was like a cold hero there before you played a game, and he had that great debut. What is it about him that makes him so dangerous?
Well, he's an incredibly accurate thrower, but beyond his physical tools, he's an incredibly mature, smart, just well-grounded young man. I mean, he does not act like a redshirt freshman. I got to know him just a little bit when we were recruiting him at Stanford, so that should tell you about the kind of personal and academic background he's got. Because if he's a guy that we've offered and we're really recruiting at Stanford, he's an upper echelon student for sure, and certainly character-wise, he fit the mold of what we were looking for there. So I think he's a pretty special guy. They did some things in the Pitt game to keep a lot of easy throws in the first half of that game, but to his credit, he made every one of them. I mean, so they game planned for success, and he got hot, and it kept rolling. And their staff did a fantastic job with him in the first half. And when you look at the offense that was run last year with E.J. Manuel, and now the offense that they're running with Jameis, it really hasn't changed very much. So clearly, mentally, he can handle the majority of the package, because they ran a lot of different stuff in the Pitt game. So clearly, that shows mentally he can handle it, which is not surprising.
Jackson, you think he'll be ready to go?
He's day-to-day like the other guys. Yep.
And Brock and Callaway? I assume Brock is okay.
Callaway will not play this week, and I believe Kendall's going to be fine. He's day-to-day. Whether or not we choose to put him out there this afternoon, we'll make the decision when we get closer.
Is there something specific he has, or is he just kind of banged up?
No, he's just kind of banged up. He's not. No, it's okay. He played wide out for 2 years. He got that false sense of security. All of a sudden, he's carrying it a bunch of times, and he forgets that the running back gets tackled. So.
Jackson's had some injury issues in his career in the past, and one game where he's already missed a year. Your ability something that he needs to prove?
Well, if he had injury issues in the past, I'm not aware of them, because he was here when I accepted the job. He was already in the family. So the research that goes into what occurs, at his junior college or in high school, I wasn't aware of it. I kind of looked at it, he's mine, so I love him. In terms of here, I don't know if he's got anything to prove. And this, I think we've been a little bit unlucky. I mean, the deal Thursday, we're at a Thursday practice, which is very quick and not very physical, and we really got bad luck. We got bad luck is what we had. I would be more upset if I looked at a guy that wasn't trying to get back. I see a guy that's trying really, really hard, doing everything he can to get back healthy. So as long as guys do that, then I'm certainly no medical expert. I'm not in any position to judge how an athlete's body's feeling, as long as they show that they're trying to do everything they can to get back healthy.
And Brian Lane, is there any thought of at the safety thing, 210 kind of a light linebacker?
And he's a big safety at 210. Yeah, there is a thought. I mean, ultimately, the decision that we have to make is are we better as a defense with Brian Lane at safety or at linebacker? He could still be our best Sam linebacker, but if we're a better defense with him back there at safety, then we might have to keep him there. And to be honest with you, that's a decision that we probably won't finalize until Thursday. We're probably going to go ahead and rep him at both spots throughout the week and decides what. There's no doubt that he had an effect in the game against Davis. I mean, we had not gotten great production at a safety spot in the first game, And Charles's suspension forced us to move him back there, and all of a sudden you see the guy making impactful plays, and you think to yourself, well, maybe he needs to stay back there. And that's something that we'll kind of work through here as the week goes along. I don't know. The guy, to be honest with you, the guy that has earned the right to get more significant reps in practice, and if he does well in practice, then in the game, is Solomon, because Solomon showed some juice. Quite frankly, he showed the ability to see a hole and hit it and run through it and turn what was blocked for a gain of 5 or 6 into a gain of 16, 17, and really, we can block it for 4 or 5. After that, God's got more to do with it than we do. I mean, it's at some point ability factors in, and Chris flashed. He only got a certain amount of carries, but that's the beauty of being able to have a game where you can start to rep, younger guys in the late in the third and early in the fourth quarters. We got a chance to see some guys with the lights on, and Chris was a guy that stuck out. And he's earned the right to get more reps in practice. And if he practices well, he's a guy that you might see in the game and say, didn't expect to see him touch it 6, 8, 10 times. But if he earns the right, he earns the right.
How would you grade your special teams so far?
It's not been good. It's not been good. And I'm intimately involved in it, and it's not been for a lack of emphasis. We are, you can never replace game experience, and we are still a new staff, and we are finding out about guys in game situations. It's one thing to go through spring football and training camp, but you never really know how a guy's going to react until you put him under the lights. And we are learning about our guys, quite frankly, and have had to make some personnel moves because of it. The long snapping situation was a little sketchy for the first 2 weeks. Connor Talbot was our long snapper. He gets hurt, and he's down 2 weeks in training camp. Then you finally get him back healthy, but he's, that's a different deal. Matt Gallus was handling the short snapping duties. Matt gets nicked up on a wrist, gets nicked up on a knee. So then all of a sudden you put Tyler Wilson in, and you're holding on to your breath, and the guy does a fantastic job. And so hopefully we have that settled now. The block punt was a one-on-one matchup. And unfortunately, they weren't even trying to block the punt. It was a 6-man box. We lost the matchup. We can't do that. And we've corrected. Sometimes it's not that we don't love our guys or we're not happy that we don't have them, but sometimes you got to make personnel moves. And in that case, we made a personnel move. We made a switch. So the kicker missing the PAT is unacceptable. He knows that. That being said, I've been through it. I've been through freshman kickers before. The kickoff return that gets out the gate the other night, safety loses leverage on the ball. We got blown up right at the point of attack. The kicker is supposed to kick it deep right. He yanks it to the left hash. The ball's out leveraged 3/4 of the coverage unit as we're coming down the field. So it's a combination of things that simply must improve. Lester has been working his tail off. I've been working my tail off, and we'll get it right. But unlike offense and defense, when you're dealing with so many different groups and different guys in different positions, sometimes it takes a little bit of time. We'll get it fixed, though. I know that.
Are you really looking forward to get to conference play?
Yes. Very much so. Because I think, as I didn't know the conference very well, as I've studied the conference, and as I've watched what's happened in the first 2 weeks of the season, I feel like we look like a lot of the other teams in our conference. So I'm not saying we're going to win the conference, but I look at a lot of our conference games and I say we could lose it, but we could lose 3 in a row. We could win 3 in a row. But I think that we can be competitive in our conference after having a couple of weeks to kind of look around and see what people look like. I'm glad we don't have to play Utah State. I know Coach Wells very well. I have a ton of respect for him. I think Chucky Keaton's a great player. I'm glad we don't see them this year. Clearly, Fresno's really good this year. Carr's a great quarterback. Tim DeRuyter's, got that thing rolling. Big win over Rutgers at home. But, I mean, you look the rest of the way, and I think it looks pretty evenly matched, at least from an outside view of it early. So I am looking forward to conference play, but that, that's when I sit in my office at 10 at night. Right now, we have a team meeting at 1 in the afternoon, and we're going to start talking about Florida State, because that's the challenge that's right in front of us. I'll worry about Hawaii when it's time to worry about Hawaii. No more for Coach. Thanks, guys.
Joel, doing something on Ian Seau this week. What has impressed you about him that you've seen so far?
Just his overall effort. He's a little undersized right now, but he plays with speed and he just tries to get better every day. He asks me after practice, like, what I do good today, what I do not good today. And he's working hard, and that's all you can really ask with a guy that's coming in out of a JC.
I don't think people have beaten you much in the last couple of years. Has he beaten you at all in practice?
Not really, but he tries really hard.
What do you think is the biggest challenge coming up this week?
Florida State, they're a good team. I mean, overall, they're playing at home. It's their home opener. They're going to be excited, and they have a lot of great players, and we're just going to have to go out there and concentrate on each play. We can't think about the whole game. We just got to go out and try and win every play. And if we go out with that mentality, we're going to be in it. We're going to be competing. So it should be good.
Are you guys getting as much out of the running game if that is there? Are you guys losing yards out on the field? What's your mindset about just the running game in general so far?
Yeah, I mean, UCLA, we obviously didn't run the ball as well as we wanted to. We're here. We're used to getting 300 yards a game out of the pistol offense, and UC Davis, they were stacking the box, a lot. So they had 8-9 guys in the box. You can only block 5 or 6 with the O-line. So it's what you expect, though. We'll get in our groove and we'll get going. It's going to improve. We've had a lot of different running backs back there, and we're going to find a couple guys that get the most of the carries, and we'll be all right. Oh, we're good. We're, we had a solid win against UC Davis. We're all pretty happy about that. It's always good to get a win, no matter who you're playing. And we know Florida State's going to be a good football team. We knew UCLA was going to be a good football team, and we're going to go out there and we're confident. We're a confident football team. We know we can play with anybody, and we're going to try and show that on Saturday.
You guys talked about the noise in the stadium. You guys are going to have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, we went silent count, a lot of camp, and UCLA we went silent count too, so we're used to it, and that's all that really matters. We can communicate good enough and stuff like that. As long as the O-line and the receivers are going on silent count, we'll be all right.
You say you're used to the crowd. What about the humidity? I mean, the dry heat of Reno is not the humidity of Florida.
Oh yeah, it's definitely we're trying to hydrate, and it's definitely going to be a hot one, and we can't really prepare for that. We're going to drink as much fluids as we can, and we're gonna just go out there and fight. We can't really do much about it, so we're gonna try not to worry about it.
Having played the Rose Bowl, do you think it will help at all going into that stadium down there?
Different type of atmosphere, I think, but it's a big stadium, just like the Rose Bowl. I think they're a little closer. I think they're a little more on top of you, kind of like a Oregon, more atmospheric. So, it always helps to play in different stadiums, but each stadium's a different animal, and we'll get ready for what we got.
You remember looking at film of that Oregon game, and how can you compare maybe the Oregon team of a few years ago to this team?
Florida State?
Yeah.
They have a lot of good athletes, both teams. They recruit speed and size, and Oregon's D-line was pretty big, and these guys are pretty big up front and their linebackers fly to the ball just like Oregon's did. I mean, it's comparable for sure. They have the same type of athletes. They recruit the same type of guys, and it's going to be a good test. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's going to be a challenge for sure, but we go into every game expecting to win. We're not going to go down thinking, oh, this is a lost cause. We're going to come out, we're going to fight, and we're going to try and win every play. You know, we're going to go out there and play one. Whatever we run, we're going to try and win it. And then whatever happens on that, we're going to put that behind us and try and go to play two. It's going to be a challenge for sure, but, you know, we're going to compete. We're going to go out there, and we expect to have a chance to win the game. They're well coached. They have a good defensive scheme. You know, defensively they change up their fronts from 4-man to 3-man, and they bring different blitzes. So they're giving you a new look every time pretty much, and they have enough athletes to rotate. So they're never going to get tired on you and stuff like that. So they just have depth, good coaching, size, speed. I mean, they're a top 10 team. They're a good football team. Thank you.
Go ahead for questions for Jordan Hanson.
Jordan, if you could just talk a little bit about what you guys are facing this week on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, you know, they're a really good team. They got a really good redshirt freshman quarterback, big receivers, physical running backs, and they returned 4 starters on the O-line. So it's definitely, you know, a team that's a well-oiled machine, and it's a big challenge for us, but we're ready for it, and we're excited.
Does your experience going up against Hunley help you at all for James Winston?
I definitely think it does. I don't know that they have as many designed quarterback runs for Jameis, but he's a quarterback that can run. So anytime we get any type of pressure on him in the pocket, we have to be prepared for him to scramble, make a move, and try and gain yards that way. Having Cody and having gone against Brent Hundley help us with that definitely.
And how do you guys get kind of mentally ready for a game like this?
I mean, we just have to go in there, knowing that it's going to be a physical game. And, I mean, up front, that's what D linemen live for. Any type of game where they're not really trying to spread the field, and it's really just we're going to line up and run the ball at you, and it's, man for man, like who's going to win, who's not. Those are the type of games that I like, and I think most defensive linemen like. We're not, too keen to running around chasing receivers and stuff. But I just think the physical nature of the game is something that we're all looking forward to, and practice is always physical, so it'll just be something that that we're just ready to do just because we do it every day.
And doing something on ENSA this week, what has impressed you the most about him?
His work ethic. He comes out there every day. He doesn't say much, but he's always working, trying to get better. He plays really fast too when he knows what he's doing, and it's just good to see someone who's really active and getting after the quarterback and willing to do almost whatever it takes, spin moves. I mean, whatever type of move he can do to get to the quarterback, he's willing to throw that move for the win. So,
have you talked to him much at all about Junior? Or?
No. Yeah.
Playing out there, I mean, this has got to be one of the stadiums that everybody would like to play in.
No, yeah, I mean, definitely, and it's kind of like the Rose Bowl, but I think it even takes that to just a whole nother level just because, Florida State and the winning tradition with Bobby Bowden and all that stuff, and now Jimbo. But, and like Joel was saying, it's their home opener, so we're expecting a packed house, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I know it's probably like 90,000 people they fit in that stadium, so I just think the atmosphere is, something that every college kid wishes that they could play in, so for us to have that chance would definitely be exciting.
Mentioned the Rose Bowl. I mean, how is it to have played there just a couple weeks before going out there? Does it prepare you at all, maybe more than playing at, Idaho, San Jose State, or something like that?
Really, at the end of the day, defensively, I wouldn't say that there's much of a, change. We don't really have to worry about a silent count or anything because we're just going off there moving anyways. But, playing in the Rose Bowl helps, having all the fans and hearing them, say what they're going to say and just being able to tune that out and focus on playing. So definitely playing in the Rose Bowl this year has already helped us with that. So seeing all the people there won't be as much of a surprise. The confidence is high right now. And, after watching the film, we realized that there's a lot of things in that game that we could have done better. And it's small things, guys stand in the right gap and stuff like that. So we look at that film and, we use that knowing that, we can definitely hang with these guys in Florida State. They're a great team. They have a really good offensive line. But if everyone does their job, then we'll definitely have a shot. And, we can win this one in the fourth quarter.
Watching film of that Pitt game that they played, what stood out?
Really, their offensive line. They really know how to work together, and in terms of double teams and combo blocks, and when the defensive line moves, passing guys off and stuff. They look like they've been together for a long time, which they have. 4 guys are coming back now, so just the way that they can kind of communicate with each other up front in terms of having our movement being successful. They don't really chase guys that disappear out of their gaps or whatever because they know that if one guy's leaving, another guy's coming. So seeing that on film and just watching them, pass off blocks and run their double teams and stuff is all really impressive.
Anything else for Jordan?
You being the 6-year guy here, the Oregon game a few years ago, how did these guys match up with a team like Oregon?
I actually didn't play against Oregon, but
No.
oh, you
You
just
didn't play against
no, I did not. But I broke down a lot of film because but they're fast. They're fast. Oregon recruits a lot of guys from the South. We're trying to get off into that region of players also. They're fast, they're physical, they're big, they're strong. So it's about the same matchup. Oregon was ranked a lot higher than Florida State is now, with them being 10. I think Oregon was 3 or 4 at the time. So they match up pretty well.
What do you think you guys have to do in the past game to try to take a little pressure off the run game this week?
Just catch the ball. They play a lot of man coverage, cover 3, but 33% of their defense is playing cover 1 with one high safety. Watching the Pitt tape, a lot of balls were completed. They really don't mind the short routes. They more so care about giving up the deep ball. So we just got to catch the intermediate routes and get yards with the football.
And that seems to fit into your offense fairly well too.
Yeah. For the most part, that breaks us down. Except Richie had a few long catches last game, but most of the time we catch short routes and tend to break tackles and move the chain. So that's basically what we're going to go into this game and try to do.
Is it difficult to mentally prepare for a team like this?
I wouldn't say difficult, not to mentally prepare, but physically prepare. We're going to it's a quick turnaround. We had practice on Sunday and yesterday off. I just feel like the preparation is kind of crunched. We leave Thursday, so that's kind of different for me because we usually don't leave till the day before the game, playing teams, on the West Coast. So it's going to be a little different. We practice Thursday morning, like at 7:30. So that's completely different for me. It's just going to be, a little different. But as far as being mentally ready, a lot of us came down and broke down film yesterday and got started on that. And we also had meetings this morning and watched a bit more film and just continue to break them down. And, we have practice in a couple hours. And, that's when we get everything incorporated with the scouts and things like that and actually get moving looks instead of just watching film.
What about opportunities like this to play in a stadium like that? Especially being a senior,
Yeah.
You're just can't see.
Yeah, it's great. It's an opportunity for all of us. So, I mean, we just got to go out there and fight and see what happens. We get ready for every game like we're going to win it. We're not coming into this game with our heads down or anything like that. Number 1 team, number 10 team, it really doesn't matter. Who we play, we're going to get out there and line up and play football.
You guys were able to move the ball against UCLA, and you guys settled for a lot of field goals. I mean, how important is it to sustain those drives and get into the end zone?
It was the first game of the year. That's going to happen. Whether we would have played UC Davis first or UCLA second, I'm pretty sure the outcome would have been completely different. But, that didn't happen. First game jitters. We had a lot of guys that were playing for the first time. The running backs, Kendall played receiver last year, and Don Jackson, this is his first year playing college football. So, those things are going to, transfer to, games further in the season. So, we're looking forward to score points. We don't go any drive looking to, kick a field goal because those aren't for sure. You can't go and think that you're going to score 3 points. We look forward to scoring 6 every time. So, that's how we go into these games thinking.
A little bit of West Coast, East Coast rivalry here. A lot of you guys from California, they're from Florida.
Yeah.
Just kind of see what they're all about with all the talking about.
Yeah, me personally, I think some of the best athletes come from the West Coast, but, that can be me just being biased. Me and Cody, we joke a lot about just being from SoCal, and, it's more of like a NorCal fuel on the team than the East Coast thing. So, I mean, a lot of great athletes come from those schools. I mean, Florida State is so traditional, it's so prestigious. They had some of the best players I've witnessed play football for them. So, they breed athletes down there, and, that's just something we have to get used to. I mean, the West Coast, we do also. So it's just a, 50-50 chance on who's going to come out with the win. You just got to block it out. It's not one time a crowd that helped the team win a football game, and this is going to be one of those situations. I played in Notre Dame my freshman year. It wasn't what everybody made it out to seem, but it's just nice, experience something like that. Like I said, them being a prestigious school and them having all these, great athletes transpire to the NFL from their school, and the alumni that they have there is going to be tremendous. They come out with the Indian, the Seminole, and throws the fork into the ground, and that's all fun and games. So, they blow that whistle and it's time to play football. So. It's pretty good. I mean, with Cody going down and coming back in the second half, it gives us a lot of time to focus on, getting Devin ready just in case he has to go. I'm not saying that Cody's not going to be ready or anything, but, I mean, we have confidence. We played together last year, me, Aaron, and Richie, and we got Kobe also, which, we didn't really get the tight ends a lot of balls last game, but, that's what we're working on this game. We're, working on spreading the ball around, and so they can't focus on just one receiver. They have to stick all of us. Yeah, Polian, Coach Polian, he doesn't really mind. So, I mean, I have a lot of stuff that's brand new that I haven't been able to wear in the last 6 years, so I figured I'd break it out a little bit.